Where do I even begin? Now, I wasn't even going to make a video. I'm going to be fully transparent. I was so aggravated after the game last night that I was just going to take today off. You know, it's the World Series. I usually take off on the weekends unless something big happens, but it's the World Series. Kind of have to talk about it today. So here we are. I'm seeing a lot of pointing the finger today. Whether it's blaming Aaron Boone, blaming Aaron Judge, blaming Nestor Cortez. There's a lot of pointing the finger. And listen, it's somebody's fault, and it's a collection, right? It's a collection. It's a multitude of things as to why the Yankees lost last night. But when it comes down to it, is Aaron Judge hitting? No. He's coming up in pretty big spots, and he's not really doing anything. Striking out, flying out. When we need him most, he has not been producing, and it's hurting the team. Do I put some of the game, some of the blame on Aaron Judge last night? Yeah, you have to. But Aaron Boone, this is a guy that I've been talking pretty good about lately. And if this morning, if you're going to go to bat for him and say that none of this was his fault and it's all on Aaron Judge, if you're going to say that this morning, and I don't know if you are, I have no idea, but if you are, get your head out of your ass. Because if you could come today and say that Aaron Boone is not at fault for last night's loss, you really need to self-reflect. Seriously. You take out your ace, your $300 million ace at 88 pitches. You bring in Clay Holmes, who looked awful. Then you're like, crap, he looks bad. We better yank him. So you do that. You bring in Canely, who was fine. You bring in Weaver. Obviously, they tie the game, but that's not on him and more so on Canely. And then we all know what happened in that 10th inning. Listen, Giancarlo coming up big, hitting that home run. Verdugo coming up huge defensively. Huge. Twice. Stanton gave you 6+ innings. Could have given you more. He's your ace. He could have given you more. Jazz Chisholm coming up in that 10th inning. Getting that hit. Stealing second base. Stealing third base. Anthony Volpe coming up to the plate with Rizzo on first. Now Jazz on third base after stealing third. Putting the ball in play. Scoring Chisholm. All wasted because, in my opinion, maybe I'm a little nuts, Aaron Boone likes a story. This is a guy who was horrible for the Yankees back in 2003. Horrible to a point where they benched him in the playoffs. They benched him. And then we all know that infamous home run that he hit in Game 7 against the Red Sox. He got his story. Heck, that might have landed him his job many years later for the Yankees. He was trying to be way too cute by bringing in Nestor Cortez, a guy that hasn't pitched in a month and a half. 37 days to be exact. You're bringing him in against probably the best top of the lineup in Major League Baseball. And look what happened. He hasn't thrown a pitch in 37 days. When you had a guy, Tim Hill, I know this narrative is being thrown around, but I'm going to throw it here too. You had Tim Hill pitching to a 159 earned run average. And it's not like, oh, this is, his postseason breakout. He's only doing, in the regular season, he pitched a 4 ERA. No, in the regular season, as a member of the New York Yankees, he pitched to a 2 ERA. So basically his success carried over into the postseason and he was pitching great. If you lost with Tim Hill on the mound, you could justify why you brought him in. Instead, you're bringing in the better potential story in Nestor Cortes. And if he gets out of there, you win the game. If he doesn't, he didn't, you lose. Now you have egg all over your face. You have egg all over your face because you tried to be too cute. Bringing in Tim Hill, a guy who's proven this postseason, and he's pitching well this postseason, while Nestor Cortes, I love Nestor, while he was throwing in workouts, Tim Hill was throwing in high leverage innings for the Yankees and helping them win games. And you bring in Nestor Cortes, you hung your guy out to dry, Boone. That's what you did. You brought him in a situation that he was not equipped for at the moment. He was not. Nestor's a friggin' gamer. He's a gamer. I love Nestor Cortes. I love his attitude. I love it. He's a tough son of a bitch. But to be honest with you, that wasn't the move. If Tim Hill loses you the game, then he loses you the game. And if you want to try to justify bringing in Nestor Cortes after not pitching in 37 days, so be it. But I would not be doing that today. I would not be doing that today. Tim Hill against left-handed hitting, as I believe they're hitting like 190 against him. You had the matchup right there, Boone. Thinking that Nestor was the better matchup. Booney, he wasn't. And not even that. He hasn't pitched in 37 days, Boone. You have a guy in Tim Hill who's been pitching high leverage spots night in and night out, it seems like. And he pitched so damn well. And he just had him sit in the bullpen while your guy Nestor, who had nothing. Freddie Freeman just sat on that pitch and annihilated it to right field. Just annihilated that. That was not the time or place to try to get cute in game 1 of the World Series. You want to blame Judge? You want to blame Judge for not producing? Fine. Part of the blame goes on him, without a shadow of a doubt, of course. But if the Yankees, they were 1 out away from winning the game. If they win that game 3-2, we're not talking as much and magnifying as much of how Judge struggled. We're not really talking about that today. We're talking about those 2 Gold Glove plays Verdugo made. We're talking about that marvelous base running by Chisholm. Stealing second, stealing third. Then Anthony Volpe coming up, putting the ball in play. Noah, you're turning 2 on him. Putting the ball in play, scoring Chisholm. Stanton with the 2-run home run. Cole, 6+, 88 pitches. Booney overmanaged last night. He overmanaged. Now tonight in LA, down 0-1. Rodon on the mound. Historically, not that great against LA over his career. Not that great on the road this season. He's a dog. I wholeheartedly trust him. But Boone, and this has been his story for quite some time. Sometimes he can't get out of his own way. He can't. He struggles with that. Like I said, you want to blame Judge? Blame Judge. But whether Judge hit last night or not, if you made your odds better by bringing in Tim Hill over Nestor Cortez, that would have given your team better odds to win that game. You were 1 out away.